Hi, everyone. Welcome, welcome. How lucky are we, right, to have Alyssa Ritchie with us today. Alyssa, thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
I'm super stoked. Someone told me never to sit or stand next to a more beautiful woman than you. I say bullshit. I want the most beautiful woman standing next to me. Right?
Oh, Effie, you're too kind. Thank you.
My pleasure. My pleasure 100%. And thank you so much for coming.
Yes.
So I'm going to jump right in. And I'm going to talk about that sign behind you, which is really pretty.
Thank you.
It says, do epic.
Well, I'll probably swear if that's okay. I don't know. So that, well, thanks for having me for starters. I just want to say thank you. It's funny because I actually was around when you started the podcast. I knew, when you were talking about your first guest and having it be Abraham Gray. And so I've kind of had this like backseat journey to like watching you have your podcast. So this is actually really special for me.
Well, I'm delighted.
But yeah, do epic shit. That's kind of our tagline. So at the Elite Hub, so I own the Elite Hub. We're a transaction coordination, and I also say real estate operation company. And that has kind of been our new tagline that we've been using, in the marketing space, right? Trying to figure out our message and who we want to talk to. And finally, one day it was like, you know what? You do epic shit. We do the rest alongside of you. We kind of do epic shit too. And so that really just kind of like happened. And so that's the tagline. And that's, entrepreneurship in itself, right? Is you're just kind of going out and you're trying things. And most of the time it turns into pretty epic shit.
Totally right. Totally right. And I love the way that you guys are very grounded. You're real, you're raw, and you're real. And I love that. I just absolutely love it. So thank you for being yourself. You're so beautiful and you're so sweet and so smart, that, you could have played another card, but you chose instead to play, who you really think, who you are. Yeah. And in regards to that, I'm going to start by sharing a little bit.
I love it.
I'm going to share.
Yeah. Baby me.
How cute. How absolutely beautiful that you are so charming and so sweet. And yet at the same time, I couldn't help it. I saw this one and I said, yep, that's her. She's got grit. Don't mess with this girl. I was like, it's amazing to me to see how nature has absolutely blessed you in many ways. And here is your personality. I ain't quitting. I'm here to stay. Get out of my way.
I got a little bit of a spicy side, of course. Yeah.
I love it. I love it. And then there's, of course, the one we know in the community. And your smile is absolutely contagious. It's just contagious. I just love it very much. So thank you for that. Yeah. Tell me about a little bit about yourself as a kiddo.
Yeah.
We saw how cute you were.
Yeah.
What were you like? Were you, tell me, did you get yourself in trouble? What would your elementary school teachers have said about you?
Oh, well, that's a great question, Effie. So I'm going to go back even like a little further because we were kind of talking a little bit behind stage. But my mom was a teen mom. And so we grew up together, and she will say I was practically perfect. I listened, I followed the rules. And so that cute little girl was totally me the whole time. And then I would say the spicy side came out more after, and like when I was more of a teenager. But my mom, like, we grew up together, and she'd be like, "Oh no, you were perfect." Like, sorry, sisters, but I'm secretly the favorite. No, just kidding, just kidding. But yeah, so that was me. I still am a rule follower. Um,
What about the teachers, though? Would the teachers have said, "Oh, yeah, she's an exemplary student," or would they say, "I gotta watch her sometimes"?
Oh no, I was a pretty exemplary student until probably senior year, when I was like, okay, I'm checked out. Like I don't want to be here. I was always done like with stuff first, just sitting around kind of waiting, like straight A's, and except math. Math is not my forte, so that was kind of the class that I struggled in. But straight A's and never really homework because I just finished everything in class, and so.
That's
like that. Really, yeah.
Yeah, totally agree with you on that. So what did you do when you finished high school?
So I did a semester of college and I was like, this is not it. So
not it.
Yeah, I was like, I went back and forth, I was like, I want to get into pharmacy, like I want to do that. Okay. And it just wasn't my thing. Like I was like, okay, I did my time in school. And I nannied for a while. And then my first big kid job was at a credit reporting agency. And I did that for a couple years. Yeah. So I did actually, it's kind of funny. I was in the mortgage department. And so when people were buying houses, we would do kind of like the credit reporting on that. And so kind of in the real estate space, and then moved and kind of like transitioned out of it. And then I got my real estate license, and that's kind of really where it began, I would say.
Were you in the same office?
So no. So when I had moved, we had moved over to Seattle, or like the greater Seattle area. The credit reporting agency was in Spokane, Washington. And so when moved over there, I got licensed, and I hung my license at a Keller Williams office in Kirkland. And I started out as a real estate assistant. Yeah. And then slowly, I didn't totally love the sales aspect of it, but I kind of did. I was partnered with someone and it just wasn't a good personality fit. And so I kind of moved on to office leadership, and then I helped run someone else's team. And that's kind of where the operation started. I was the director of operations, but I was a young kid, right? Not really knowing how to run a team or anything. And I mean, part of my team is here today, and I still don't totally know what I'm doing every day, right? But there's grace in that. And so that is kind of my love for real estate started there.
Awesome. So it was actually quite young.
Yeah. So I think, well, I still would like to say I'm young, even though I'm getting older, starting to get gray hair, Effie. But I got licensed in 2017. So I've been in real estate for the past 8 years.
Wow. Yeah. Wow. When did you find your way to SubTube?
So I joined SubTube January of 2023. So I've been in SubTube just over 2 years.
Time flies, doesn't it?
Time does fly. It has not felt like that. Because the other day I was like, oh, okay. I was like, yeah, January of 2023. And I'm like, wow, we're in 2025. It's been 2 years.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm looking at hitting 3. And I've had the same feeling. Oh, that's so good of you, Julie. You're right. She is very amazing and knowledgeable. And Julie deserves a raise.
Yeah. We're working on that with Julie. Yeah, we're working on it.
Awesome. So yeah. I remember when you first joined, because Pace was beside himself. Oh my God, a transaction coordinator already working as a team. I got to get her. And I felt like, good thing he's so close with Laura. Otherwise we'd be thinking, what's he doing? But you joined, and, with the TC group and with Molly and all. And boy, I bet that was quite, what was it like? Was it like it just reaffirmed what you already knew, or did it pile on more stuff? What was that like?
Yeah. So it was great in the aspect that I knew traditional real estate. And on the other side, it was also hard that I knew traditional real estate, because if anyone's familiar with traditional, it's very, I'll just say simplistic, right? And so over in here in my brain, I'm like, okay, cool. Like you open up escrow and there's an EMD receipt and, you know, there's maybe an appraisal and you close, right? And in creative, there's way more that goes into it. And so, yes, I had the general real estate knowledge, but nothing in comparative to what I needed. And like you said, I was connected with Pace and Molly, and I worked on the internal team. And another like cool full circle moment too is like you were my first creative tradition, or my creative TC file. And so yeah, I know. So I love that too. And so for the Deal or No Deal program, you know, you were a PML lender, and that's not anything that we've ever dealt with on the traditional side. And so it was just really awesome to like jump in and then have the knowledge and support of the team. And I also obviously still had my TC company on the side. My mom is actually one of my TCs, and now even my sister. And so they're part of the team. And so that was always, yeah. So it was always going. It just was like slow rolling, right? And then just being on the internal team and, you know, getting to like learn all that knowledge was, you know, I'm here because of it. You know, I had that extra love.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, Deal or No Deal was very exciting, right?
Yeah.
It was interesting
like
to see.
Jump in and hurry and learn it.
I know. And I remember, I think it was you or Molly at one point said, well, you know, you can set your own terms. I'm like, oh, okay. I want the sun and the moon and the stars. Yeah. I can't remember if it was you or if it was Molly that said, now, Effie, come on. And I was like,
I think it was Molly. I was like, what do I say here?
You know, I didn't even realize I was being so ridiculous. But it was a lot of fun. And it helped me put, you know, I think it was a 40,000, 45, somewhere in there, help to a student in Florida. And it helped me to do it with confidence, because had I not had you guys taking care of all the paperwork, I would have been a little worried. Yeah. So it was definitely a starting point for both of us.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's kind of cool. Yeah. Kind of cool that we have that. So now once you started building your own thing, and at the same time, I have to say, I absolutely love the logo. And I wanted to talk about that because let me see if I can show it. No. I almost left. Bing. That would have been good. And you would have been like, oh no, now what do I do? Oh my God. All right. So the Elite Hub. Mm-hmm. Remember I called you and I was like, hey, what is this? And you're like, it's my company. I'm like, dang, tell me about it. So first thing I want to know is the logo is beautiful. I love it very much. Why two B's?
So, well, I'm even going to go a little bit backwards too. So we actually started out as just Elite TC. But through the journey of being a TC, right? And, you know, oh, go to the TC for this, go to the TC for that. And really, like, there's a specific TC hat that you can wear. Like, a TC doesn't underwrite, you know, that's the underwriting hat, and kind of the different avatars. And if anyone listening is familiar, you know, with SubTube and obviously Pace, right? So all of the avatars that he talks about, those are different hats. And yes, we can wear multiple, but like, when I'm in my TC lane, I should just be my TC lane. So Elite TC quickly became the Elite Hub with two B's. And really that's mostly because like domains and Instagrams and all of that stuff. So I just ran with two B's just to like differentiate ourselves too. So we became the hub, right? So we have underwriters on our team. We're all investors. We have PMLs on our team. And so we really now are like a super avatar hub team, and we can provide, you know, numerous different services than just the TC work. So that's kind of where the hub came, so that investors can just have that one-stop shop and just come to us for everything.
I love it. I just love it. Now, who made this?
Oh, so Jen on our team. So it's a secret superpower that she has. So Jen, she actually makes cookies. And so she sent that to me for my birthday.
That is so, I'm telling you, I want to take a bite out of it. And it's just a glass screen.
Well, Effie, we're going to have some of those at Squat Up. So you can take a bite at Squat Up.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Put me down. Put me down. You know what? You should charge money and then give it to nonprofit or something like that, because I'd pay. I mean, that's pretty cool. Actually, I'd probably wear it for a long time first. I don't know. It looks incredibly sweet. For sure. Oh, what have we got? Oh, hey, Robin. Nice to see you. Yep.
Yeah. So I'm on special projects, Robin. And so I'm still a part of the team, just not in the capacity that I was before. It's very much a more passive role versus an active role.
That's cool. That's cool. And that was new for me too, learning that. So I think that's cool. Very cool that, that connection can continue.
Mm-hmm.
If I can find the arrow. Okay. Then we can, oh, no, not that. Okay. Let's see if I can, all right. Maybe I won't be able to. Really? These are the challenges of podcasting, guys. All right.
Real life, you guys, for sure.
Yeah. And here's the other. Oh, and the other thing is, if you don't highlight it. Oh, how interesting. Okay. Well, that's whack. Okay.
It's just
no. Okay. I have to stop sharing and share again in order to show what I want to show next. Just goes to show, guys, I think right now this is 91 or 92 for What the Effie, but I've done so many podcasts in other areas. I'm well over 100. And yet, look how long it took me to bring this up.
We're always learning and growing.
Talk to me. What is it?
Yeah, thank you. So this started in 2024. This is my sourdough bread, the journey that started. Well, and you know too, Effie, so when I first started my TC, I was very newly pregnant. And so I really we already had our son, but then being pregnant, learning all of, the TC stuff, and then having Mackenzie, our daughter. So this was kind of that January 2024 postpartum. I really want to try to make sourdough bread new hobby. And so that has been kind of a fun creative outlet that I've done. We talk about sourdough, on the team. Numerous of us bake and we talk about it. We talk about our starters and all that kind of stuff. So that's definitely been my first loaves did not look that pretty, just like anything, right? When you started out, you're starting it out.
I think it looks
that comes from it. Oh, that was probably 4 or 5 months in. I was making
fantastic. Yeah, it's absolutely beautiful.
Thank you.
All right, so I want to talk a little bit about the Elite Hub because of the hub, and I love the way you worked around it with the HUB by simply adding a B. I had to do the same thing. What the Effie was taken.
Yeah.
And I tried to reach out to that person and there was no way. They had done one thing 15 years ago and nothing again. So it took me a little while before I realized, oh, wait a minute. I know what to do. Let me think outside the box. And all I did was add 1_ at the end. And that was it.
Yeah.
Okay. So what we're looking at right now is the elitehub.com. This is where you can reach out, guys, if you want to use some of the services. And and it's very interesting to me because, the hub, okay, it makes total sense. We've got this hub going. And you got the Elite TC, which most of us know about. Doesn't require too much explanation. transaction coordinating. I think that's what people would think it is, period. But nope, you went on and you actually do EMD lending.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So we have
Talk to me about
us. Yeah, we have a couple of us on our team. So our team obviously consists of SubTube members, top tier members, Gator lenders. Some of us are multiple, out of the PACE's different communities. And so we do provide, I would say, smaller EMD lends, right? So especially like if we have a wholesaler that comes to us and they need EMD, like we can also lend on EMD. And so, like I said earlier, too, we're all investors. We all want to make money. We all want to, grow our portfolio. And so this is just another arm is what I call it, of how to make money, right? So I'm a firm believer in diversifying your income in different multiple streams. And so one, it's it's an income stream that like we as a team can do. We can do individually with different team members. Obviously we TC EMD lending too. So, it's just another arm, just kind of like the underwriting. We have two underwriters on our team, a couple more that want to do underwriting. I'm not a numbers person. Remember, I never got an A in math. And so for me, I'm like, you can do high level numbers.
Well, that's because it means you can stay away from it.
Yeah.
It means you don't have to get involved if you don't want.
Exactly. And,
so like how does the underwriting work?
Yeah. So if you have a deal.
Sorry, we're talking over each other. My apologies.
Okay.
The question I have about underwriting is I haven't hired an underwriter myself. I mean, I've underwrote with people and I've had people underwrite something for me, but I haven't hired anyone. How does a person hire an underwriter?
Yeah.
And what does it involve?
Yeah. So for our underwriting services, we actually have 3 different tiers. And so there could be a basic tier, or our basic tier is kind of more like, do you just want us to review what you had for that double set of eyes? Do you want us to check multiple exit strategies? That's in a different tier. Do you want to Zoom where we go over all the numbers? And so really too, that service kind of started because one, everyone thought that the TCs were underwriters and we're not, right? And so it's like, if you don't feel comfortable with your numbers, well, why don't you bring it to our team? Both of our underwriters are top tier certified with Bo. And so it's like, if you want, we can run the numbers for you. And so we can either we can double check you, or we can basically do it for you. And so we have different packages depending on what you need, exit strategies, and so on.
Nice. Yeah. That's really, I love the fact that you're being so encompassing.
Yeah.
And now we're getting over to the marketing.
Yeah.
Talk to me about what that is.
Yeah. So that is kind of, I'm going to call that like an arm in progress, right? Because we're, as a team, like we're not a perfect at marketing, right? We got to hone in our message, and our clientele is changing and what we're offering. And so we're not perfect at it, right? So we got to lead by example. So we're honing that in, and then we're going to, I would say, relaunch more of a marketing division. One of the gals on our team is really passionate about marketing, and she has a background in marketing. And so we're going to put together packages. So SubTube members, top tier, Gator, whatever, investors can come to us and say, I want help with marketing, whether that's social media, whether that's newsletters. There are gals on our team. There's actually numerous gals on our team that are really good at marketing, but like ads and ad space and all that kind of stuff. So we're going to hone on their experience, right? And offer it, to investors and just people that want to grow. And, like I'm not perfect at the social media stuff. So we're just going to hone into that and then offer it as a service because everyone needs it. So.
I love it. And it will push you because as you said, an arm to, in the process of growing, that's good. And speaking of social media, I do want people to know, here's where they can reach out to you individually. That's her Facebook page. And a name like Alyssa Ritchie, I always do research, whether I say it or not, I do research on whoever it is that I'm bringing on. Oh my God, I didn't think Alyssa Ritchie was as common as it is. I'm so grateful that you've got that M in there, girl.
Yeah. For real.
It's just crazy. It's crazy. Then I went to your IG and I was like, okay, IG, this is going to be horrible. But no, you had it worked out. You
Yeah.
had it worked out. You got the underscore and the rich and then the I for E. I was like, yes, she thinks like me. So I
Yeah.
think that is really, really awesome. And it's definitely a start. And I know that you said to me prior to this, us going live, that you'd like to have a podcast, with yourself and the group, that sort of thing. And I'm I'm going to keep reminding you.
I
Going to keep
know.
reminding you.
I have
You
other
bet. That's how we all move forward, right?
I have other
We grab
team members
someone
keeping me
and
accountable
we push,
too.
and then we run to catch up, and then we push.
Exactly.
But at this time, though, I see that the group has an actual site, which is the one that we're seeing on here right now. You can see that that is the URL. That's
Yep.
cool. That's really cool. And we're looking at you're doing a Facebook page or a group?
So we have a Facebook page. So that is the Facebook page. And then we do have an Instagram page.
Okay.
So yeah.
So the Elite Hub makes sense. Just put the dots in there and you're good, and you can keep it consistent here. You
Yep.
see it on the IG. So then I would hope that you're going after the Elite Hub, the same for YouTube. Are you?
Yeah, so we have a YouTube page. It's not, there's nothing posted on it, and I know we talked about it, right? You're going to push me there too.
Yep.
Is we do have a YouTube page. So the podcast, the vision that I kind of see for it a little bit, it'll be connected to the YouTube page, but it'll probably be connected to maybe my personal page too. So I have to kind of work all that out, but we totally have a YouTube page. We have a Twitter or X, and we have even a LinkedIn page, and they're all the same. I could get the same handle for all of them. But it's just right. We're growing that marketing.
This is the handle?
Yep. It's the handle.
Is this the handle?
Yep.
Good job. Good job. Yeah, it's not easy, but once you go and you get, the Facebook, the YouTube, the IG, everything, it makes a big difference. I mean, what the Effie, is very wide. It could mean many things.
Yeah.
But being consistent lets you, you need to be consistent with branding. So people will recognize you. They won't say, wait, she's called something else someplace else. It's too hard for them. So I think that having the Elite Hub like that is awesome. Very, very nice. And now the last part we haven't talked about yet is the operations. Yeah. And I'm kind of interested in knowing a little bit about that. We're going to come back to the marketing in a minute, but I would like to know about the operations.
Yeah. So we're also operators. And that means something different to numerous people, but we work with different community members on their, business operations. So we've all taken Molly's operator class that she offered through Top Tier. And so we're all operator certified. And we come in and we, help create systems and processes and help run your team, whatever that looks like. And so operations to me is something that maybe is different to someone else, right? And so we like to just have a meeting and we would go, okay, Effie, what are you struggling with? What do you need help with? What is, on your project list? And then we kind of just do a multi-step process of how we can help you. And then we defined what operations looks like to you so that we can best service you.
Awesome. Just very, very awesome. Now, I want to highlight the team at least a little bit because it brings me such joy. It brings me such joy to see, I'm all for guys being TCs too, but what a kick-ass group of ladies, that can come together to live life the way they want to live it. As you said, you've got little ones. Mm-hmm. Not everybody can afford to be working on something nonstop. It depends on what it is. Some might have a W-2. So you're looking at a pretty extensive team. You've got 15 people here. How'd
Yeah.
you bring them all together? How do you guys stay bonded as a group? What do your meetings look like? I want to know it all.
Yeah.
Right?
I love it. So, yeah, great question, Effie. So, it started kind of in phases, right? So, my mom has always been with me. We joined SubTube together, right? So it was started out, with me and my mom, and then we met,
Yes, she
again.
shouldn't be able to look that beautiful, okay? She should not look that beautiful. Not with a child, a grown daughter. I'm sorry. I look like an old grandma. My daughter is beautiful, but my God, Jessica. Okay, I am happy for her. I will not complain again. Sorry.
I love it. No, it's good. So we kind of did it in phases. So my first SubTube friend was Jordan Hirschfeld, and she was on our team. She's no longer on our team, but she was a vital asset in like our beginning. And she brought in Kayla. So she's still on
What did Jordan do?
Huh?
That was vital. What
So
did
Jordan
do?
Yeah. So we would sit on, so this was before the TC training too, the TC course that Molly put out. We would get on Zooms late at night and we would talk about like watching what we watched in the vault. She got me connected with the elephant challenge. And so we were just like the ultimate battle buddies. It was like us three, right? And
Nice.
so we did that. And then Kayla came on, like, I want to say right after I had Mackenzie. And so, that was like of another vital part, right? Just in this journey of our growth. And, volume was kind of, I've always hired.
Kayla right here.
Yep. So Kayla's right there. And I've always hired before the volume was, I'm a firm believer in you hire before you're running around like a chicken with your head cut off, right? And so I could see that volume and partnerships were starting to form. And so then we hired, I guess I could call it group one. We hired, I believe, 5. And just kind of slowly started getting everyone up to speed, depending on, even just the deal type, right? And then again, we kind of went through this growth phase and I was like, okay, we're going to hire again. And then we hired the next group. And so we just keep growing. We're doing some really epic shit and it's awesome and it's fun. We're doing a lot more portfolios now. So not just single family.
Nice.
And so we're just, we're going to do some massive epic things just alongside our investors. And I want to be able to service as many people as possible, and love on the communities. Right. Pace has always said, just love on my people. Right. And so I gotta, we have to have a big team to do that. And so each one on the team brings their own special, backgrounds. Right. So some people came from corporate, some are moms, some have W-2s, and so we all have this diverse background, property management, traditional real estate. And so we're just bringing that together to just create this like massive powerhouse of knowledge so that we could just love on more people.
Yeah. I think massive is the word for sure. So tell me a little bit about the ladies. Do they I know you're putting in more than 40 hours a week. Okay. This is your business and I've seen you grow and I know what that takes.
Yeah.
Are any of them also still working at W-2 and hoping to be able to leave it up for good? Or are some, it's interesting that you're working for Pace now only on special projects because it makes room for, for your thing, the Elite Hub. Are some of the ladies kind of part that way also?
Yeah.
Because it offers incredible flexibility.
It does. That's such a great question. So I would say half of our team actually does have a W-2. And so I know some of the girls want to get rid of their W-2s. Some of them really still enjoy their W-2s, but they're bringing in that additional income stream. So our team also offers that flexibility, right? Is like, obviously I am full-time, like you said, obviously I'm the owner, so my hat is totally different, but we do have the flexibility of that. Some of our girls are growing, 2025 is the year of like growing their portfolios, or we have another gal and she's starting a side business that can also service investors. And so that has been really fun to watch and support and, just kind of come alongside and be like, yeah, that's a great idea. The investors need it. And so we just have a really good, diverse, background, I guess is what you can say. And so, we meet every day. And so we have that camaraderie to be close. But I'm a firm believer.
When do you meet?
Yeah. So we meet every morning, at 8:30 Arizona time. I live in Arizona time. So, but we meet every morning for an hour. We go over files. We talk about different ideas.
That's nice.
A little bit. I get into crazy visionary mode, like sometimes. So yeah, it's great.
Yeah, that's cool, because that means if they're on Pacific, it's 7:30. It's not too early. You can still be there. And
Yeah.
if you're on the East Coast, it's not too late, because our country's a big country, and that's one of the issues. You 15 people. How many times? I'll bet all three, maybe even Alaska.
Yeah, we service all time
That's a lot.
zone. Yeah. Yeah.
Cool. Very cool. So you meet, once a day. Does the team break up into smaller pieces and meet? Or is it just like, does each person work on one file, on one client's needs? Or are there times where, let's say Kayla and Tiffany might be working together on something and they just keep going?
Yeah. So that's such a great question. So we do a little bit of all of it. So like, especially for these portfolios that we're doing, that's more of like an all hands on deck, right? Especially depending on how big the portfolio is. So we break it down. We do post close and servicing. So those are additional services. And so sometimes like Kayla will do the TC part, Tiffany will do post close, Carolyn might do servicing. And so we try and break it down when we can. Cause I mean, any TC listening to knows, like, by the end of the transaction, sometimes you're wiped. And so being able to rely on the team to like kind of come in and that new energy for that different service is, I would say, life-changing. And then obviously like the portfolios, it's like, okay, which state are you working? Which state are you, like, all hands on deck? So we're getting ready to do the biggest portfolio that we've ever done. And so that is, we're kind of talking about how we're all going to split it, who's going to do what. So those have been the conversations that we've had some mornings of what it's going to look like. So.
Cool. Okay. Yeah. So I have some questions.
Yeah.
What size of portfolio have you done in the past, and how big is this one that's at your doorstep now? Let's start with that. And are they single family or multi-family? What are they?
So the biggest portfolio that we've done so far is 11 units. And so they were 11 single families, just as one portfolio purchase. And then the one that we're getting ready to do, I don't want to totally let the cat out of the bag because it's not totally done, but I will say it is over 40.
Oh, that's awesome. A single family or multi?
So they're all it's single family. So 40 single over. So yeah. So that one too, and in the mind of a TC, right? We look at it as it's 40 different properties, right? There's separate title reports. And so all of that kind of stuff, that's the way that we look at it. That's how our brains work. And so, we always have the conversation with the client. How do you want it to look? This is how we think it should look, but ultimately it is up to your decision. And this client, he luckily, he was like, okay, I want to do it the right way. I was like, because what if one of those properties isn't performing? You want to be able to sell it off. And so, yeah, so that one, once it's fully in the bag, Effie, I will totally do a social media post, but it's not quite there. So
I totally understand that. I totally understand it. I get it. I'd want it that way myself, right? So I do think, discretion is important, but that's a pretty big number, and it's
yeah,
cool to think, that you like if you needed help, which you probably would if you had a portfolio, coming to a group like yours, it would probably be a whole lot easier than perhaps trying to talk with 2, 3, or 4 TCs, and
yeah,
try and get them together, because you're already a group, you're already cohesive, you already want to succeed together.
yeah,
You don't have to worry about, who drops the ball. You all
mm-hmm.
hold the ball.
Yeah,
Nobody dropped the ball. If it starts to fall, get in there and pick it up. So I think that is a huge strength, and I applaud you for it very much. I think
thank
that's
you.
great.
Yeah,
Very
we're excited.
exciting. And of course, you can swing on the rooftops.
Yeah.
The other thing I want to talk about just briefly is you said that you also will provide post close and
Mm-hmm.
servicing for
Yeah.
people who are new, or whatever. I'd like you to describe what is post close and what's involved with it, and what is servicing.
Yeah, great questions. So post close, so in a creative transaction, this is so important, right? So if you've done a creative transaction or you're new, when you're taking over that mortgage subject to, there are things that you need to do on the back end to just set it up properly, right? You need to make sure that the insurance is set up 100 million times percent right. And I cannot stress that enough, because that will trigger the due on sale clause. So we help with the portal.
Mine got called. Mine
Yours
got
got
called, but it wasn't because of insurance. I
Oh.
got my first asset all on my own.
Mhm.
And one of the first things that happened is due on sale got called. I was like, excuse me while I throw up. Anyways, it's a lot of work to fix that. So yes,
Yeah.
you want to know, what it was. It had nothing to do with insurance, but still, you do want to be very careful with subject to.
Yep. And so we'll help with portal switch over to making sure auto pay is set up if you're doing the auto pay route. The mailing address is, correct, right? Getting all of those pertinent information things switched over so that if you get sent something, it comes to you, not the seller, right? Or the original seller. So we have a whole post-close department. Actually, Tiffany on our team kind of leads that up a little bit. She's been amazing at post-close and finding different nuances, and we're just constantly learning how to make it better and easier for the investor.
Nice.
Yeah. So, and then servicing, you obviously third-party servicer. Some people love servicing. I kind of have this love-hate relationship with servicing. There's a purpose for it, but it's not also the end-all be-all. And I think people go into the mindset that it's the end-all be-all, and it's their solution to their problem. And I'm like, well, you still have to babysit servicing. So if you don't want to babysit, that's not your solution. But we'll do the whole servicing packet. We'll work with the servicing company, making sure that they get the packet. They have all the necessary closing documents that they need, the IDs, all that kind of stuff. So we basically just set up servicing for you.
Wow.
Yeah.
I can't get over how much you guys do.
Yeah, we do. We do a lot.
Opening a title company soon, because I think that's about the only other thing you haven't done. That's amazing. You're working with them, of course. Incredibly.
Yeah.
I think that's fantastic. I will also commend you for showing your prices.
Thank you.
I just love that. Too many times we're not sure what we're getting into. And, when TCs first started happening, you never knew who you were getting. This was before the TC. Well, actually, during the time of Caleb, when we were being trained, and, there were standards that were being set, but it wasn't, total TC yet. And everybody, it was a little bit like the Wild West. I went to almost every single one of those trainings, and I don't want to be a TC. I'd suck at being a TC, but I wanted to know what they were learning so I could see who's a good TC.
Yeah.
And, you know, that's where I was like, ooh, look at Grace. Grace is kick ass, you know. Look at Ashley. Ashley's doing great. You know, the whole thing about, you know, who's worth whatever they're charging. But everybody just charges whatever they want, basically, whatever they feel is right. And it's a huge range, you know, it doesn't make sense in many ways. So by being frank and listing your services, like, here we go, guys, this is what we're looking at. For basic this, here's what we charge. Okay, as you move up or down, you know, we're going to adjust that. But I love the fact that it's not a secret. It's very open. I think that is really commendable, very commendable, to say the least.
Thank you.
So thank you for doing that. For us who are not sure what to do, you know, that makes a big difference.
Yeah, it does. Well, and it's also easy for us too, because we just pull up the website and go, okay, yeah, that's how much we charge.
Exactly. So talk to me a bit about plans for the future. Where are you going to take this team? Where do you think it's going to be at the end of this year? Down the road some? You know, I'm sure that you, well, we're still close enough to January that everybody sort of got that planning mode on. But what's your vision for that?
Yeah. So last year we helped 236 investors close $60 million worth of real estate.
Whoa! So, wait, say that again. How many did you help?
So we helped 236 investors close over 60 million in real estate.
Wow. Sorry, I can't even write it because I'm so excited.
I love it.
And over 60 million. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So
that's amazing.
By the end of the year, I mean, I would love to 5x that, at least, right? Just massive growth for us. I want to be able to help as many people as possible with whatever their real estate journey looks like, right? You know, I know a lot of people are moving over to multifamily right now. So it's like, okay, investor, you want to move over to multifamily? We're right there alongside of you. We'll link arms and we'll do it together. And I just want to help a lot of people. I want, you know, everyone on the team meeting their own goals. Because if their goals are met, my goals are met too. So just help elevate, you know, the team members and what they want to do, and whatever that looks like. It doesn't matter, right? But whatever that looks like, I want to help accomplish that. Operations, like I said, it's kind of that weirder. I don't want to call it like this step, you know, redheaded stepchild, but it's kind of this weird thing where because we customize it so much, like it's not something that I want to put a number to it, but we have a handful of us that want to be operators. I would love for all of us to have our, you know, the operations that we desire by the end of the year. So just, I want to go and do epic shit together.
I hear you. Getting to 350 million, mind you, you've got a large portfolio coming your way will be very helpful, but it's still a very lofty goal. And let me be clear, I encourage you 100%.
Yeah.
But it does me think that if I were in your shoes, like, how am I going to do it? Because each of these ladies looks very competent, and you've chosen them, and they're a team. They're a good team.
Yeah.
But, you know, other things happen, and you probably will have to grow the team if you're going to hit those kind of numbers.
Yeah.
How do you do that? I mean, you know, you have the Julie's enthusiastic. She's like, yes, bring it on. I'm ready.
Yeah.
I hope Julie's going to go to Squad Up. I'd love to meet her.
She is. I'm so excited. And it's funny because we're in this virtual space, right? And so I'm super excited for Squad Up because I actually get to meet a good portion of my team actually in person. So I haven't met everyone in person yet. And so super excited. And Julie's one of them. So I haven't met her in person yet. And so it's going to be super special for their team.
And that's one of the questions I wanted to ask you. I'll come back to it in a minute about meeting up in person. But I do want to know, what are your thoughts on growing? Are you thinking on you having the team bring in people who are interested in being a TC and training them? Or do you feel like, no, we're going to let Pace do all that training and simply hire from, the community? Or like, how are you going to do all that? Because, can take a lot. You could double easily. If you want to 5X, you'd have to at least double, if not even more. So what are your thoughts?
Well, we're also working on just even our individual capacity, right? So we're going to grow our capacity. And like you said, we're going to have to grow the team. And I've said this to numerous clients, like, because they come and they're like, okay, what about this volume? And I'm not afraid of growth. Obviously growth can be uncomfortable as an entrepreneur, but like that's where success is made. And so I'm totally prepared to grow. And I know it's going to happen, and that's just going to make us better. Right. We do hire from obviously the top tier course. They've gone through that training. There are a couple girls right now that are finishing the course that have already been hired. And so that's kind of like a way we've talked about too, is that, there's comments, is that totally needed? Could we train them ourselves? We want to get into the traditional space too, which is, that's where I started. And so, well, you don't necessarily need that training, the creative training to be in the traditional space. And so those are conversations that we are having, especially as we do look to grow, of what matters. Obviously, they need to know what they're doing, right? And that's where, us coming together and helping train and grow and guide comes from. But those are conversations that we are having of what it looks like moving forward. So kind of to be determined. We kind of have our system now, but it could change. So
I think you might get some flack if people in SubTube knew you were thinking of also going to traditional. They'd be like, no, let them take care of themselves. We need you.
Right? So, but again, it's another arm, and it's more clients to serve. So, we'll
How are you trained for traditional TC?
Yeah. Well, it's way easier. I will throw that out there. There's not as many steps and nuances, but me coming from the traditional space too, of when I was an agent, I basically TC'd my own stuff. And so, we have a gal right now, and she's a traditional agent, and she does traditional TC. And so I was like, okay, well, you can also come build that arm out, and help us. Like in traditional, it's way easier, right? You got EMD receipt, you got inspection period. If they're getting financing and appraisal, and you close, like it's way easier comparative to creative. And I don't want to like totally be like, oh, traditional is so easy. Obviously things come up and you still have to, work through those. But if you're comparing apples to apples, it's definitely not apples to apples. It's like an apple to an orange. And so it's just another thing that I want to add so that we can, have that other income stream. If, who knows what the market is going to do. No one has a crystal ball. I think creative will always be around. Traditional will always be around. Why not work in both? So.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
That's a very good point. I like the way you say it.
Yeah.
And you're going to meet your team, a fair amount of them, at SubTube. Do you have any kind of thoughts or plans of getting the entire team together at any point?
Yeah. So don't tell Pace, but we're staying at an Airbnb, a good portion of us. So
I love it.
I know. So
I had to laugh. Did you see the email that he sent out?
yeah.
Here's who was it? Sarabi. Okay, so you got to talk with Sarabi about getting in, and you better not stay in an Airbnb. I was like, hey, Pace, good thing that I already have my hotel room, or that would motivate me to go get an Airbnb. Don't tell me not to do something.
Yeah.
That was funny. I laughed at him. I was like, wow, but I get it. He wants everybody to be together, but I also get why you guys are staying at an Airbnb.
Yeah.
Absolutely awesome.
Yeah. So we're excited. We've talked about too, like we want to do like a yearly retreat together and all this fun stuff. So we've got some fun plans for Dallas. So you won't miss us. We'll be in bright pink.
Well, that's good. That's good. Do you guys ever consider taking a piece of the business you're working on versus cash? Do investors ever come to you and say, look, I have this thing and it's going to cost me this much. I really don't have a budget for TCs, but if you can do this and do it well for me, not only will I give you business in the future, but I'll give you, I don't know, 4% or 5%, I don't know, whatever it is that you're looking at. Do you guys ever do that sort of thing?
So we totally would. We haven't been approached to do it that way yet. But I know a lot of us do want to grow our portfolios this year and like what that looks like and expand and elevate to that next level. And so, we'll work for real estate as well.
We'll work for real estate. I like that. I like that. And when you say that you guys are interested in building out your portfolios, 15 different people, 15 different interests, but what sort of things do you see the team getting into themselves?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So like for me, I know I want to do multifamily and we'll do fix and flips depending on that. That's kind of the 2025 goal, obviously with my husband as well. So that's kind of like our goal, right? I know other team members want to do multifamily, some want to do RV parks. And so one, like, right, everyone will have their own portfolio, but two, there's been, situations where it's like, okay, this has come through. Why don't we partner on it? And so I can see both, right? Portfolios growing together, but then also our separate portfolios. So I know a couple others, want long-term holds, some want co-living, some, fix and flips as well. And so we're all buyers. So if you need help selling your deal, like the TC is the ultimate connector. So we either probably want to buy it or we know someone who wants to buy it. So.
And then frankly, that's something that you haven't added up there, but I'm sure that you do connecting deals, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So and this is something that will also
figure that out on your own.
So
I'm
yeah,
sorry,
no, it's okay. We also have a dispo specialist that we're partnered with. And so we obviously, when we work with clients, we are like, what's your buy box, right? So we could either connect you. And then if we don't know anyone, we reach out to our dispo specialist and see if they have anyone. So we're kind of 2025 will also be the year of probably building out a little bit more wholesale acquisition dispo services, just so we can help more. And then either we know a buyer, we are the buyer, or we know someone that wants to buy. And so if anyone wants to send us their buy box, they can send it to us, and we're on the lookout.
Where are most of the ladies living?
Oh, we're all over. So I'm in Arizona. We have a couple in California. We have a couple in Colorado. We have one in South Carolina, a couple in Washington, Minnesota. So we're everywhere. We're nationwide, baby.
I love it. I absolutely love it. You want to make every state count and every day count.
Yeah, exactly.
I think that's fantastic. Well, I want to say thank you again. You've been an absolute dear. I do want you to come back when that as things go along, I obviously please keep in touch and let
Yes.
me know when I need to bring you back.
Okay.
And maybe next time we can do. I think I can do 10 at the most on StreamYard, but we could possibly have a little, you know, a couple of people more than I mean, you're fantastic. Don't get me wrong, but uh, bring a couple people together. Any
Yeah.
way I can help. Is there anything that people can do that are listening now or in the future? Because this does live forever.
Yeah.
What would you like for them to do? I mean, as soon as you've got that YouTube, we want it. And as we said, we want, there's the IG, guys. Where you go? Why isn't it showing? There it is. All right. And there's Facebook. You know it. It's the Elite Hub with 2 B's.
Yeah.
I think that's pretty cool. What else can we do?
Just bring us your deals. We can help in any way, right? So we can help from underwriting, obviously TC, that's the bread and butter. If you need help dispoing, we can do that too through our partners. And so really whatever you need help with, we're here. So just contact us and we can help.
Pretty cool. And don't forget, they're going to be in bright pink at that squad up.
Yeah.
So we'll see you all there. And of course, we'll see you next week as well.
Yeah.
Okay, I am going to see if I can sign us on. Thank
Thank
you,
you.
everyone. Thank you, Alyssa.
Thank you.
I'm having. Hello. It doesn't want.